tonight. Wayne Gretzky is playing on the left side. And immediately, Los Angeles dumps the puck into the Soviet Union zone. Captain Smirnov playing it out of there. Alexander Smirnov. Lukin, who made the tour last year with the Soviet Central Red Army team, is out on the forward line, along with Tita. Chrysler playing the puck out of the Los Angeles zone. Gretzky gave it right back to him. Chrysler, the Czech player, kicks one high off his stick and up into the seats. There is the captain of the Los Angeles Kings, Wayne Gretzky. Several of their regulars not in the lineup tonight, but Wayne Gretzky is. And this is not his first introduction to Soviet hockey either, is it?
No, without Wayne playing in this game, it would take a lot away from him. I think the people that would be most disappointed if Wayne didn't play would be, the Soviets. They look forward to Wayne. They really do. And he's sort of the benchmark. He's the guy that they try to compare everything with.
And a look at the Soviet players bench. Vladimir Vasiliev is the coach of this team. Himik. That is not Valery Vasiliev. Longtime fans of Soviet hockey will remember Valery as an outstanding defender. This man's name is Vladimir. They say that he's rather unorthodox, but most of the Soviet coaches have a certain style, and we're ready to get a penalty here. First penalty of the game will go against the Soviet Union. Albert Malkin took his man down. And the penalty called now by referee Bill McCreary will be for tripping. And Los Angeles will go to the power play 1 minute into the opening period.
Well, Jake, it's amazing. You got these names down already. I'm just going to try to follow you, my friend. It's sort of a very soft type of call. Bernie Nichols working through the crease a little bit, and I don't know, he might have skated right over the goalkeeper's stick, but whatever. It's when you're at home, you get those calls. So, if you would be in the Soviet Union, well, it would have been looking just the opposite.
Zervikov in goal. He's the young man that was disciplined by the Soviet Hockey Association last year. He came over with the B team, and in Regina, Saskatchewan, he was accused of shoplifting. Nobody said whether he was guilty or not, but the fact that the Soviet Sports Committee last season disciplined him, you have to think that they felt that he was indeed guilty of some misdemeanor. But he gets the start here tonight, and he has been outstanding. First half of the season, Himik with the best record. Beating up on everybody. Really, the race is for second and third place right now.
Chicks, that's a story in itself. But the Red Army team, they say they don't rebuild. They sort of reload. But I think they are rebuilding this year, and they're looking for the 92 and 94 Olympic Games.
They will be over here later on. That's Marty McSorley playing the puck to the left point. Kings can't hold it in. And Himik starts out of the zone. Coming to center ice is Tutino. Shot turned aside by Gosselin. Ends up over on the left side. Played one around the boards, and Nichols dumps it out through center ice. Robitaille tied up. And here's Brian Benning. Benning acquired from St. Louis. He's given it to Bernie Nichols. Plays it to Gretzky. Shoots. By Pernikov. And the Soviet team able to clear it down the ice. 1 minute, 2 seconds remaining in this power play. Marty McSorley moves in. Shot one around the defenseman. Selyanin, and a bit wide of the net.
Jakes, remember a few years ago, Marty McSorley never saw any ice time in that power play. Now he gets a lot of it.
He's been red hot recently for the Kings. Gretzky playing it back to Peter Braisler. Braisler had it knocked off his stick. It comes out to center ice. Velipukin out there killing off his penalty.
Nothing better than a Czech trying to beat the Russian. Or the Soviet, I should say.
And the goaltender, Zervikov, covering the puck. Way behind the net, up against the boards here. 30 seconds remaining in the penalty. Looking at the Soviet players here this morning, they are very young. In fact, two of their youngest players aren't with them. They left a 19-year-old, a couple of 19-year-olds back. And they're going to Moscow, as a matter of fact, to practice with a junior team in preparation for the World Junior Championships, which will be getting underway right after Christmas, December 21st, I believe it is, in Finland.
Yeah, they had two 19-year-olds they left at home and one 17-year-old. That's the Red Army team this year, Jakes. They are a very young hockey club. As I said, they've got to rebuild. I think it'll be good for the National League and the Soviet Union. A little bit more parity, I guess. Some new rivalries being developed. And it's not the same old ho-hum thing for the last 14 years. The Red Army team has won that championship.
No, not at all. Breaking in off the right side for Los Angeles, Nico Makula, acquired last week from the New York Islanders.
Remember that guy, Jake?
Yes, we do. Had a long talk with him tonight. Very disappointed in the trade. Shocked. Didn't expect it. He said you have to make the most of it. I'm not the first to be traded, and I won't be the last. So Himik is able to kill off the penalty. Malgin is out of the penalty box. There is no score. We have played just over 3 minutes of the opening period. Soviets playing the puck into the Los Angeles zone. Dolnoff is out there now. He's another outstanding player. There are two Dolnoff players, brothers. You see the Kings with an opportunity in the goal mouth, and it's played out of there. The right side, Dolnoff in center ice. Andre Dolnoff, the 26-year-old. Kings take over deep in their own zone again. Match moving up the left wing boards. Jay Millard out on the ice. Okay, and the opening goal, winning goal against the New York Rangers. Lindholm plays it to the right side. There's Allison, moves right in. Jamaica about to make the save. The puck comes loose momentarily. Now is covered at the defense. And a face-off coming in the Soviet Union zone. There is no score. You're watching the Kings of the Soviets on Sports Channel. Is where this team is from, this Himik team. So it is a small city, they tell me, in a suburb of Moscow. Interesting looking uniforms, aren't they?
Well, I think it's a good looking uniforms. I think when we associate the Soviet hockey teams, you remember in the early 70s, Jakes, and even 10 years ago, how they would be drab and the uniforms would be, well, I don't know how we could say somewhat complimentary, but even the equipment, the skates, the gloves and whatever. So they made some great improvements by getting some money, some unique ways to reason buying new stuff. Wonder how they got that money.
I don't know.
Yeah, they said before. I said before, they're exporting hockey players and importing wheat.
You know, these are brand new uniforms. All the equipment that they're wearing provided as part of this arrangement of the teams coming over here. You see that CCM insignia, sticks, helmets, everything is brand new. There is no score. We're 4.5 minutes into the opening period. And it can't clear the zone. Benning fed it across, and Robitaille's shot is blocked. Goaltender, Jervikov, trying up the boards, but not out. Here's Robitaille. Centered it back. Benning shot. Off the skate. Picked up again by the Kings. Little stick work here, drawing the attention of the fans. Puck held in. Scott Bjugstad up from New Haven of the American Hockey League out on the ice. Bjugstad started the season with an injury problem, but has really responded recently. A long shot, turned aside, pad save as Gosselin put the right pad up. And here's it from the crowd. There's going to be a hooking penalty on the play. You look at Mario Gosselin, quite an acquisition from Quebec.
Well, Gosselin is very familiar with the European style of play and how they will shoot off passes and how they will probably make the extra pass, being a member of the 1984 Canadian Olympic team. He does give Los Angeles that all-important depth that any good hockey club needs. The days of one good goalkeeper is going to be hard to play in the National Hockey League with the parity and the depth that's being developed.
Well, a hooking penalty on Tim Waters of Los Angeles. Kings a man short here. With us on the bench tonight, Cap Rader and Rick Wilson handling the coaching chores. Tom Webster watching from upstairs. Is in communication with them, but not handling the team on the bench. The Kings have dumped it down the ice. Court number 4, Selden.
You know, the first 5 minutes are going to be an indication that the Soviets, being the first visit here to North America, are very tentative. Almost like they're a little shy. They don't know what to expect. L.A., they're saying, geez, you know, it's another ball game tonight now, 80 games plus playoffs. What do we have to do? Play another exhibition game? That's not really on their high on their priority, even though it goes for a great cause to develop money for the pension plan.
Look at the Los Angeles bench. Yeah, the money is the important thing, I guess, for both teams' perspectives, in particular the Soviets, because it's an infusion of new money to their program. And for the players, all 21 NHL teams, since this series began, going back to the 70s, over $18 million has been kicked into the pension fund.
So it is important. Everybody worries about injuries in games like this. I think last year here in L.A., Bobby Carpenter broke his hand, Jigs, if we remember.
That's right. Yeah, they look at that as a situation that is one of those things. You don't like to have it happen. 20 is Valery Telepukin, 21 down, 6'1", 181 pounds. I mentioned earlier, he made the trip last year with Central Red Army. D-top on that draw, number 13 for the Himik team. Team centering one across. Forecheck is Allison. He and Krushelnyski up front. Still a minute and 19 seconds remaining in the Waters penalty. Into the center ice area. shot off right wing here by Chenko is turned aside. The defenseman, and it's Allison over center ice. Calgary plays it up the boards, and it's offside as the Kings bring it right back into the Soviet zone. This will be in Calgary on Friday, and we'll have that game. Himik and the Calgary Flames, no strangers. They played one another as part of that friendship tour. Calgary winning 4-2. Intermission tonight. Getting ready to go to Florida to attend the governor's meetings. Ask them about what we can expect out of those meetings, what they'll be discussing. Will be expansion, but we'll find out from Bruce. 48 seconds remaining in the penalty to Waters. There is no score if you've just joined us. Kostrikov over on left wing, handling the puck, laid it back to the blue line. The ball-out shot was blocked. They set it up again. And the spot is Yashin, but they can't get the puck to him, and the Kings fail to clear the zone. It's all getting over on the far point now. Dumps it in around the boards. Chenko goes up here and fires one. That just missed the net. Bouncing back along the boards. Salgin puts it back in the net. Chenko can't get a stick on it. Now they feed it into the corner. Chenko centering pass, and then the shot turned just a little wide. As the Soviets set it up well. Kings are at 6 aside again. Himik playing it to the right side. Chenko with a shot that's wide of the net. Back along the boards. Bounce Salgin at the line. Works it in toward the corner. Pick up the pace a little more. I don't think they're as shy as they were at the outset now, Herb. They're taking the body, pressuring the Kings, who finally cleared the zone. Los Angeles playing without Tonelli, Robinson, and some of the other veterans. Sheen can't take the pass at center. It's going all the way back into the Los Angeles zone, but not far enough to ice and carried back this time. After McSorley out there, Brushelitsky moves up front. He's down the left side. Come out of the ice along with Ellick. Ellick is leading the American Hockey League points right now. 17 goals, 23 assists, 40 points in 28 games in New Haven. And in line with Vakula. Brushelitsky. This is Marty McSorley. McSorley across the line. Plays it in around the defense. Quickly backboard. It's Klemechov. Klemechov trying to center it. Tangled up on the boards. Puck comes loose. Andre Kvartalnov failed to clear it out. Ellick plays it around behind the net. There's Vakula. Brushelitsky marked in front. They can't get the puck to him. Now he goes back to the net for it. Away from Nikitin. Put it out in front. And there's going to be a hooking penalty. Hooking penalty being handed out here. There is no score early in the first period. And you're watching the action on Sports Channel. Alexei Yashkin in the penalty box, a hooking penalty handed out at the 8:37 mark. A lot of unfamiliar names, but Yashkin is a name we've heard, although this is not the player that we thought he was.
I think one of the real hallmarks of the Russian game, the Soviet game, is their skating. We didn't see a lot of skating there. They're just reaching out, hooking and holding. Any coach will tell you want to skate through your checks back there. And the Russians, Soviets, I keep saying the Russians, Jake, but the Soviets, as Wayne Gretzky said, the thing that they have to do to be successful in the store is go to their legs, move, play a high-tempo game, because they're sure not going to win any physical confrontations.
Bernie Nichols out on this face-off with Robitaille and Gretzky. And Kings will start deep in their own zone. Chrysler set it up back of the net. Now he moves up the left side. Steve Duchesne carries the puck to center. Robitaille tips it across the line, but immediately it's cleared out of there by Vazvikin. This is Gretzky. Second power play of the game for the Kings. They send Duchesne over the line. He's taken into the boards by Vazvikin. Igor Vazvikin, 23-year-old. Kings starting from deep in their own zone. Chrysler brings it out to center ice. To the Soviet blue line. Nichols reached for it. Chrysler knocked it away from him. It goes all the way around to Gretzky. Up the center one. That's cleared aside. Duchesne with it at the point. In along the boards intended for Gretzky, but Kazalkin broke up the play. Move him to the Los Angeles zone. Hugo can't control the puck, and this is Wayne Gretzky. Gretzky over the line. On that one, didn't he? Now puts it in the slot, and Nichols' shot is blocked. Good save by Cherveikov. 86 seconds remaining in the LA power play. Nichols over the line. Cut it to Robitaille. Shoots. And again, Cherveikov playing the angles well.
This is usually those.
Look at this. Nichols busting him off the glove hand. Cherveikov comes up with a big save for this Himik team. 28 seconds remaining in the Los Angeles power play. Benning pitching in off the point. Got it to Nichols. Back to Benning. Look at the blue line. Went in deeper instead with the pass to Robitaille. Left it for Gretzky. They had two Kings back behind that goal. Now Robitaille frees himself from the tight checking of ball game. Puts it out in front. Back to Bernie Nichols. Nichols holding it. Feeds Wayne Gretzky. Gretzky with time running out. It's poke checked off his stick.
Jason was going to say about the Russian goalkeeper. Usually sort of their Achilles heel. Somewhat of floppers, and they're not really in sync. They don't really play a stand-up game, but we've seen a couple big saves here by the Soviet goalkeeper.
Let's see Cherveikov. Yeah, he has made a couple of outstanding saves. 9 minutes, 11 seconds remaining in the opening period here. Wayne Gretzky, topic of discussion. This young team, they are young. 29 is the oldest player that they brought on the trip. They were looking forward to playing against them. He really made them think about this.
Well, Wayne Gretzky, there's one thing they're going to find out before the night's over. You don't do any stick checking against Wayne Gretzky, because he's going to give it to you and take it away. And this is going to find out where he's just does so well behind that goal line. He's waiting for people to get in those little seams and holes.
Krushelnyski with a shot off the left side as Ellick cut through in front to screen him. And we're going to face off in the Himik end of the ice. There is no score. We're midway through the first period. Getting set for a face-off in the Soviet end of the ice. No score. 9 minutes remaining in the first period. Barry Beck out in defense for Los Angeles is chased back into his own zone as this Himik team moves up quickly. Having to get their skating legs. They arrived here on Friday and have really enjoyed a warm weekend. Warm hospitality.
You don't think we've enjoyed it?
Speak for yourself, Herb. You're living here, aren't you? Permanently.
You don't have to be from the Soviet Union not to enjoy Southern California.
Temperatures in the 80s yesterday, high 70s today, sunny, almost fogless in the basin out here.
You can even see the bottom of the pool today, Jakes.
That's where you were. Why devil you?
Doing my homework.
Beck playing the puck up the right side. That's Makela going rink wide to Krushelnyski, and his pass through the center ice area is broken up. Yashkin putting it back in for the Soviets. Brought out by Benning. Benning over center ice. Across the blue line as he cuts to the right, but Miller got in ahead of the play, and it's offside. Jay Miller had that big goal against the Rangers on Saturday. He'll be talking with us on our second intermission tonight.
Jay also shaved that beard off. I think he's waiting for his wife Paula to give birth to that baby any day back there, and I don't think he wants to go back to Boston with that full beard. He's getting prepared for that big day. But he was pretty happy the other night, that first goal. But he'll be a lot more happy when his wife delivers and he could think, say, gee, that's over, and because it's bothering his play right now, and he's constantly worried about it. Talked to him again today. He's always worried about what's going on back home.
Casper, Crowder, and Miller, back home guys. All three former Boston Bruins. Crowder hanging at the puck. Waters pinching it off the right point. Get it to the man who was all alone in the corner. Now they come back, and Miller plays it in. Benning holds it here on the left side. Got it to Jay Miller. Miller bumping a little bit. He and Rakhmatulin. Something like that. The player that they sprung on us.
Rakhmatulin.
What is it again?
Rakhmatulin. Okay. Now that's the only thing I'm going to help you out with tonight, Jakes. Now you're on your own. There he is, number 9. He stuck this guy in on it. Here we studied all day long. Well, not all day long. Quite a bit. We had all the names down. What happened? What? Invariably, the Soviets are going to change a few sweaters on you, add a few players on you, right? So when we started looking around, who is this guy? And all of a sudden, 10 is 22, and 10 is 22 is scratch, and this guy's that, and you know. But that's his name.
You say they always do this?
Yeah, they always do this.
Did they do that?
You know that.
At Lake Placid?
Well,
did they food you there in any form?
Yeah, a lot of times they food you. That's just an amazing what you can accomplish when you don't know what you're doing.
Two favorite names around the hallways downstairs, dressing room area tonight. Gretzky, Brooks.
Oh, yeah, Brooks. Very good. Now what do I have to...
And the Soviets take the lead. Loose puck bouncing around in front, and it's banged in by Val Gilman.
Well, you described that very well, Jakes, because it was a loose puck. There was not a, they just jumped on that thing. The Soviets will play a very conservative type of a checking game in the offensive zone. They've always got one guy high in the slot. The other two guys like to work those corners and like to throw it behind. Now, Goslin just ventured out a little bit. When you go that far out, you better control that puck or do something. And all of a sudden, he was just got a stick tied up there in Fraser's laser skates. The Soviet just jumped into it. Loose puck, bouncing puck. Goslin, stay home or get the puck. You can't get caught in between. And that's just what happened.
Here, Yeoman is another one that is not in the lineup, the traveling squad that showed up to play the game. Number 22, Valier Yeoman. And he has given this Himik team a 1-0 lead. Shane playing the puck in. Take off out of the net, out to the blue line, and there's that long drive blocked. Defensively playing around the boards here. Raisler back in with Lindholm. There's Robitaille over on right wing now. Luke Robitaille turns the puck over, and Himik comes to center ice. He got the puck on the stick of your Yeoman again, and now they make a change. Playing it in. Robitaille went in after it, couldn't get there in time, and out comes Bazalgin. Bazalgin across the line. Put it in the skates of his teammate. Turning around on the play is Melipokin, and he put it wide of the net. Harry Beck to Todd Alec. Alec wearing number 6, plays it through the center ice zone. We have exactly 6 minutes to go in the first period.
About the puck, the Soviets would be a little bit more aggressive than showing tonight. They're more of a counter-punching team right now, Jakes. They just put 2 guys. It's like a 2-1-2 configuration. The third guy is always high, looking in the slot, maybe move over to the boards a little bit, allowing the defenseman to pinch in. He'll fill in for the defenseman. And generally, the 2 wingers are working as forecheckers, but they are not really, very boisterous about it.
Marty McSorley dumps the puck in. Back to the Soviets. Nikitin picks it up and ices it. We're going to whistle and a face-off back in the Soviet zone. They lead 1-0 as we pause now for a regional break. You're watching the National Hockey League on Sports Channel America. Good crowd on hand here at the Forum, Great Western Forum in Inglewood, California. This was part of the season ticket package, and I'm going to guess that they've got close to 15,000 in here tonight. Watch the first game of the Super Series between the NHL teams and 4 touring USSR teams. Himik leading 1-0. The goal, your Yeoman scoring from Galkin and Jukeno at 12:49. We've had 3 penalties. Kings have had 2 power play opportunities. Trail by a score of 1-0. Jay Miller out again with Crowder and Castro for Los Angeles. The Soviets play that long pass into center ice. And he's taken down. There'll be a penalty against Benning. Soviet center. Benning gets control of it. And now Himik will get their second power play opportunity of the game. They lead 1-0 and are headed for the power play. You're watching the Soviets and the Kings. Look at the penalty call here against Los Angeles, Herb.
One of the things that the Soviets will try to do is bring a guy out of their defensive zone, that long rink-wide pass, and they put a lot of pressure on the other team's defenseman. Brian Benning just got caught flat-footed up there at the offensive blue line, recovered. This guy can skate. Didn't quite fit into St. Louis's style of play, but he'll fit in here in L.A. Good skills.
Los Angeles continuing to look for pieces to their puzzle. Acquisition of Benning, recent acquisition of Makela. Still giving up a lot of goals in NHL play. Something that folks thought would be corrected this year with the arrival of Robinson, the return of Beck, some strong checking forwards, but they still give up a lot of goals against.
I think Chicks, they're looking for a couple of younger defensemen, a little more mobility. That's why they picked up Benning. That's not to say that.
Back in that zone again. You saw that slap shot. Streetcar.
Man on the Cheeks, he didn't get good wood. If he had a good wood, he would have buried that.
In itself a little unusual, the slap shot. 2 people really go more for the wrist shot. You saw the slapper again off right wing. Hold it in at the blue line and then misplay the puck. Mirnoff was coming in quickly. The captain of the team, a little out of position as it turned out. See the blue ball game. Now comes right back to the blue line. Hard shot by Yakovenko. Cleared by the Los Angeles Kings. 51 seconds remaining in Benning's holding penalty. setting up at its own end of the ice. 3.5 minutes to go in the period as they come across the line. Yeoman here on the right side. He was the only goal scorer thus far. Put it back in the net. He got hit pretty good by Beck. Sorley battling for it. Moves it up along the boards. Salgan held it in, and then his pass was blocked. But out comes McSorley. John Casper coming down the right side. Casper turning on Salgan. They're coming in to help him. Now Casper with it again, and it's knocked away.
You notice there the Soviet defensemen, Jigs, what they do in the bigger rinks in Europe, they won't turn and pivot and try to catch a guy. They'll go to a spot and make you come back to him, like spot bowling, so to speak. And in the National Hockey League, with the rinks a little narrow, the defense will pivot, try to get the guy and take him into the boards.
Well, the Kings have dumped it down the ice here. Teams are back at 6-a-side. Yeah, the difference is the adjustments. It'll be interesting to watch this team when they get into the 3rd, 4th, 5th game of this tour, playing on the smaller ice surfaces here. They had a very spirited practice this morning. I know you were taken with it. Deflected right in front, scooped up and held by Gosselin. The Himik team of the Soviet Union leading the Los Angeles Kings by a score of 1-0. See the Soviet goaltender stretching out there. He's faced 11 shots. You had a look at Gosselin as he prepared for the shot, but now the Kings are over the Himik blue line. Robitaille got knocked off balance down on the deck, and Benning out at center ice has moved the puck to Waters. Back to Brian Benning. Now to Robitaille. Pass to Makela, stepped over the line, made the play, and there's Nichols with a shot. Well shot on goal for the Kings, all handled by Rebecca. 2-on-1 developing here for the Soviets. They move in deep, and a man parked out in front. Didn't give the puck to him. Robitaille moves it up. Benning's pass to Nichols. Went to the right for Makela. Back to Nichols, and he hadn't gone to the front of the goal. Now Nichols steps out of the corner. Nichols holding the puck, slipped it back to Benning, and his shot is blocked. Comes up in the center ice zone. Back goes Nichols with just a little less than 2 minutes to go in the opening period. And the Kings offside as they tried to move into the Soviet end of the ice. Robitaille and now Bernie Nichols. A lot of people wondering whether he'd be able to pick up where he left off last year, and he's still putting the puck in the net.
He had a career year last year, and we talked about it. We talked about all the stories in the National Hockey League last year. Gretzky, the newness here in L.A., and the great year Lemieux had, of course, Yzerman. But for me, the story was Bernie Nichols. Jigs, yes, as you know, he's picked it up and he's continued on. He's getting better all the time. He's doing more things. He's seeing the ice more. He's moving the puck more. Uses his people more. And he still's got that great ability to score goals, and he can turn the puck loose.
Soviets now moving in across the line. Zalapukin with a pass, and it's deflected in. The Soviets go up 2-0. Goal at 17:35. The tip in, and McSorley talks to referee McCreary while the Soviets celebrate. And that goaltender, Gosselin, wondering. His team backed in a little on him, and then the deflection makes it 2-0.
Well, again, people going to the net, that little drop pass that the Soviets like to use all the time, and they'll move the puck. And you know what, we talked about the contrast and the similarities. They shoot the puck a little bit more through screens. A few years ago, they had tried to set up and get that perfect shot. That thing was just thrown in the net, and it went off either McSorley or the Soviet player as he went to the net. And it's always important, go to the net. Those are the breaks you get when you go to the net. Those are the breaks you get when you create some traffic in front of that goalkeeper. Gosselin had no chance on that. He couldn't find the puck. That puck had eyes.
Waiting the announcement on the goal scoring. Soviets lose the puck at the blue line, and here's Casper. Miller went to the front of the net. Casper couldn't find him. For the Soviets, in his own zone, but is able to move the puck down ice. And back to the play, a whistle, and there's going to be a roughing penalty. Jay Miller being chased to the penalty box by referee Bill McCreary. Sullivan getting up slowly. You saw him in your picture, and here's the reason he's hurting a little bit.
Well, Jay Miller's got him right in the sides there, and he just took him heavily into the boards. I don't know. It wasn't the hit so much it was, Jig. Just a nice little left cross. He was reading about the Duran fight all the time, getting ready for that fight in a few days. But he gave him a little shot.
Pretty liking that fight.
I like Jay Miller.
Sugar Ray or Roberto Duran?
Sugar Ray. Gotta love Sugar Ray. I didn't care for Duran after he says no mas. Or something like that.
It was, and they're doing it again. Zalapukin at 18:35 was the goal scorer for the Soviets to make it 2-0. So you're Yeoman and then Zalapukin. Los Angeles trailing by a score of 2-0 on home ice. They have beaten the Soviet team here. The Red Army beat the Kings 5-2 in 1986. Last year, Dinamo Riga won 5-3, which is on Sports Channel. Soviet player taken down. Blue line, but play allowed to continue. We watch this power play being set up now by Himik.
Fraser, do they almost think there's a little political overtones the way he threw that guy down. That's not his style of play.
Moving it to the far side, but not out of his zone. It's held in by the Soviets. Malgin got it back to the blue line. Yakovienko playing it to the far side, then right back to Yakovienko. Malgin. Malgin held it at the line, and then that shot headed for the top corner is gloved by goalkeeper Mario Gosselin and held long enough for a face-off. 13 seconds remaining in the period.
Soviets always like to get somebody inside that box, you know, on a power play situation. That one makes that point shot a little bit more dangerous. In that situation, everybody's down the outer perimeter. And again, the defense was shooting that puck. Gosselin had no trouble picking that thing up. You look at Peter Preisler there. We're talking about a little political overtone in his play. Again, you got to remember now, he's from Czechoslovakia, a young hopeful that's got some great skills, can really shoot a puck. And Tommy Webster's been using him as sort of the 7th defenseman. They're trying to bring him along slow, and I think if he play a little more physical like that, he might feel a little more ice time here in L.A.
Think back to the deciding game in that series with Calgary last year. He got himself into the lineup. That's the last game for the Kings, and this is the end of the opening. He does it differently, apparently, but he is ever the taskmaster with this team. There are 16 teams in the Soviet League, and we're seeing the division leaders here tonight. Breaking their season, they take 5 weeks off. They have a power play. Beatoff over center ice has dumped it into the Los Angeles zone. And the Kings trying to club the boards with it with Scott Bukestad. To the line, but not out. Long shot. Gosselin dropping down to make the save. Selapukin right in front, pokes away at it. That's knocked away from him. Selapukin left it on the boards, and Timmy Waters clears the zone. Beatoff moves it to the left side, and the Soviets not hold the pass. 17 seconds remaining in Jay Miller's roughing penalty. Look at the power play set up. The puck jumps over the stick of Smirnov and comes out to center ice. Smirnov, the captain, playing on the right point. This is Titov, number 13, across the blue line. Played it to the left side. Yanko with Selapukin back to the point, and the shot went wide. Means it sits aside again. Bukestad up with the puck. Bukestad to Wayne Gretzky. Jay Miller. Miller trying to get the defense turned around. Cuts in, and he is beaten by the goalkeeper. Dives out and covers the puck now. Yanko making sure that it goes no further. Played 1 minute and 16 seconds of the second period.
Earlier when the Soviets had the puck in their offensive zone, this little passage, you pick that up right in his feet. Just kicked the thing out like a soccer ball. There's Jay Miller making a nice move here, driving to net, protecting that puck with his big body. Wayne Gretzky trying to get the replay, but again, the Soviets have been picking up the LA forwards quite well, and they're giving their goalkeeper a little bit more room to see the puck than Gosselin has seen.
Sir Tom Webster had to be pleased as well, seeing Jay Miller drive to the net like that.
Well, of all the big guys here they have in LA, nobody's more than Marty Sort. He's just growing by the game. I can't believe it. Use him on very special team situations with the down and goal. He's never seen that, but when he was in Edmonton, he had such a supporting cast that his role was not that. But he's, as I said, works hard at his game, and he's really come on.
Sagan handling the puck, and it's turned over at center ice, and Krushelnyski's pass is broken up and cleared out to center ice. Ball game moving up, can't get there in time, and here's McSorley. McSorley, Wayne Gretzky over on the left wing. They just turned it out towards center ice. Down the feed Makala. His pass was blocked. Going back across the blue line. That's one goal that was deflected off the defensive stick. Malgin chasing it. Out at center, Titov makes the pass. Malgin across the line, drops it back. Big drive. Pad save by Gosselin to come out, hit the left pad. Soviets back into their own zone. Himik team leading the Los Angeles Kings 2-0. Yashmikin over center ice. Off the line, dropped it back. Shot blocked in front. Kings able to clear it into center ice. Miller moving over. Takes Yashin into the boards. Miller right with Duchesne. Gretzky there as well. The puck goes to McSorley. But Gretzky right it across the line. Quickly, Himik moves it up through center ice. Kino across the line. It's knocked off his stick. Laisner coming back to make the play for the Kings. And here's Lindholm turning. Up to McSorley. McSorley's pass off Miller's skates. Miller gets knocked down. Lindholm into the forecheck. He's starting to take the body a little more. Meekin with a long pass through center ice. That's Kino chasing it into the Los Angeles zone. Gosselin moves it around the boards. Kings failed to pick it up, however. Kino goes back to the net. Kino peels off into the corner as they move it to the blue line. And out comes Mike Allison. Allison to Duchesne. It jumps off his stick. And off. Hanging up the left side. On into the Los Angeles zone. 3.5 minutes gone in the second period. Duchesne with a pass. Miller at center ice. Can't hold it, however. And the Soviets wheel right over the line. They're starting to play with a lot of confidence. And here's an opportunity and a 3-0 lead. Kordonov. Andre Kordonov, the older of the two brothers, makes it 3-0.
You said it again. They're just playing a little more enthusiasm. LA's defensive core has just been lax. You can see the telltale sign when a team is not really into it for whatever reason. They've been a little lax coming off their line changes, and the Soviets have been taking advantage of this. They just found a little seam there, split it, and Gosselin had no chance on that at all. And again, you're not going to see LA play like that in the National Hockey League. They're just going to be able to finish their checks a little bit, or there's going to be, something to pay. And just joining us right now is the head coach of the Los Angeles Kings, Tommy Webster.
Kordonov. Andre is a 26-year-old forward scoring at the 3:42 mark. And the Himik team is leading by a score of 3-0. Gosselin out of the net leaves the puck there for Brian Benny. 16 minutes to go in the second period. Benning's pass went to the left side. Bernie Nichols moves it right back again. Right zone. The Kings unable to get organized. So this Himik team with a 3-zip lead moving out into the center ice zone. And Mishnov dumps one in. Chasing it in. Back to Thielen, and he went to put one in front of the net. That's picked off by Bernie Nichols. Nichols had Robitaille moving through center ice. Couldn't get the puck to him. And Yashin with a long shot. Stick saved by Gosselin. Robitaille here on the right wing. Waters with a cross ice pass to Benning. Missed Nichols with it at center ice. Yashin's pass. Broken up. Here's Nichols playing it back for his defenseman, Brian Benning. Bukestad moving up the left side. Couldn't get the puck to him. And McKeon failed to clear the zone for the Soviets.
This game does give LA Kings a chance to look at some of the players that don't get a lot of ice time, bringing up a couple guys from the New Haven Farm Club.
Not passed by Zelafugin, but they couldn't finish the play, and Nichols comes down the left wing. Ian Krushelnyski across the line. 3 Soviets back to break up the play. Tom Webster has the microphone. He'll be joining us here during the second period as we watch his goalkeeper move it around to the right side. This is McSorley. McSorley to center. Cheetah chased him as he dumped the puck in, and the Kings are offside. The visiting team from Himik up by a score of 3-0, and we'll be right back.
As a result, we're playing very softly and maybe getting a little frustrated, but I certainly feel that we have to start picking up and start playing the way we're capable of playing.
Tom, one thing you mentioned, though, there's a real tough loss Thursday night against Edmonton, and you played a tremendous game Saturday. A lot of emotion in that game, and it's tough to get up for these exhibition games. And I think you go back to your career, and any National Hockey League player, professional player, they understand what's in the mind of the Los Angeles Kings. They feel there's a certain obligation to the pension fund, but to get up for this thing when it's 80 tough games, especially the division you're in, that Smythe division, there's never a night off. You've got the long, tough road through the playoffs. It's another game. And, you have some mixed feelings. You see your hockey club out there, Marty McSorley, playing with the typical Marty McSorley enthusiasm, regardless who he plays. And then there's some other ones at different stages. So, it's sort of be expected. So, be nice to the guys. Will you? Get off them.
I'm glad you're a coach.
Get off them. An ex-coach. Remember, there's a lot of us ex-guys around here, especially New York guys.
I think I'm in the middle of something here.
Well, if they ever had a reunion, Jigs, they wouldn't find a hotel big enough.
What was talked about, Tom, in preparation for this? I doubt that you had any videotape to work.
Yeah, we did.
Oh, you did?
We showed a little bit of a clip before the game started, and it helped in the sense that it helped the penalty kill.
Go back now. gets the Kings on the board. 6:08 of the second period. He's going to be a welcome addition to your hockey team, I think, John.
Well, Jakes, he will be, and I think this is a very big goal for him in the sense that he had been struggling scoring. This will be a confidence builder for him, and of course now playing on the line with Gretzky and Krushelinski will be a big plus for him. But he does things well. He handles the puck, and he scored a very big goal, get us back in the hockey game. And
well, Tom, you give Makela a chance like that down deep, he's going to bury it. As you said, he's got the great hands, sees the ice very well. But, you know, trades, when they're good trades, they help both clubs. And according to Jakes here, that the two players you sent over to the island, they've played well, very well there. So it's helped for both hockey clubs, I guess.
Well, that's what trades are designed to do. So thinking, Tom, in the acquisition of Makela, looking for that right winger of the Gretzky line?
Yes, it is. He has the skills, the speed, the strength, and the shot that once he starts feeling comfortable with Wayne, you'll see that his production will increase. At the same time, he opens things up for Wayne with his speed. And that's something that we've needed because he's been taking quite a few hits on his little move inside the blue line. But now people are going to have to start concentrating on that.
Tom, that's a good point. He does have some good wheels.
Soviets moving in here. Beacon, number 10, out there. Beacon has an assist in tonight's game, setting up the first goal by your Yeoman at 12:49. Then Zalapukin scored late in the first period. The team, Himik got up by a 3-0 score before Makela's goal at 6:08. Down. Team going back to the net, moved it up to right wing boards. Right back in again, and brought out by Shelinan. Off the left point. Moves it around the boards. Jay Miller up there. Kulin out again for the Soviets. There's going to be a penalty on the play. Penalty call is against the Himik team, and the Kings are going to go to the power play with a chance to get themselves right back into it. They're down by a score of 3-1. Back in the Forum in Inglewood, California, you see the Soviet player in the penalty box. Rakhmatulin.
Oh, yeah, he gave Timmy Waters a good shot right there. You look down the penalty minutes here of the Soviet players. You don't see too many penalty minutes over their season, but that was no question about that. It's one thing that referees are calling a lot more this year, Tom, the high stick.
Well, you will have to be responsible for your stick. It's a message that's sent from last year. I think it's been good here. I think it balances out in the long run because the players understand that, what's the sense of carrying the stick up that high anyways? You're knocking down pucks or hitting people. Keep it down on the ice where you can score some goals.
This is Zalapukin moving in with a shot. Goslin the save. The Soviets on the power play. 30 seconds in it. They'll stick off. Across the line. Gretzky sets up Nicholas for a drive. High and knocked out of the air by Chervyakov, the Soviet goalkeeper. Duchesne at the right side. Steps over center ice. One in out of the reach of Nichols. Nichols, Robitaille, and Gretzky, the forwards for Los Angeles. Preisler back on one side of the defense. Duchesne on the other. Just over a minute remaining in the man advantage. Robitaille dropped it right back to Peter Preisler. Steve Duchesne overshot it. Picks it up, checked immediately. The puck bounced away and cleared by the goalkeeper, Goslin. Dmitry Kovalnov is the man who had the opportunity. Dmitry is 23, and his older brother Andre is 26, and a two-line pass offside against the Soviets.
Well, Herbie, we talked about a quick transition, and something that we're learning from the European style of hockey. Especially on a power play, when the puck is dumped in, we're always looking for that quick counter. As a result, you can see his save here, and then Steve is looking quickly up ice to hit Gretzky, who's breaking in, and then you take advantage of the two Soviet players in deep.
Well, we've seen you do that an awful lot this year, and that's the style of game you have to play against these people. If you make that quick transition, the game opens up. When you're a hockey club, if I may say this, it is professionally as I can, if you're not skating, you're in trouble. When you people are moving the puck like that, making that transition from defense to offense and vice versa, you've got some size, you've got some big guys that can play that game, and obviously you've got some of the great forwards to do it.
Well, we find that out within the division, boy. You've got to be skating. You've got to be moving the puck. You've got to go to the holes. Of course, the quicker you move the puck up ice, the quicker you're going to take advantage of any kind of turnovers.
I think it's something you always said is win that race to the red line with a manpower advantage, and that was a classic case right there. That thing went from the defense zone to the red line awful fast.
Tom Webster is in our booth. He is the head coach of the Los Angeles Kings. Bench being run tonight by his 2 assistant coaches.
Tommy said he's taken one night off and he's turning his pay back to the club for this one.
You're going to buy some ties.
You two got into something here Saturday night, huh? Well, and shot, and no further play as Alec, who's just up from New Haven of the American Hockey League, testing the Soviet goalkeeper. The thoughts, Tom, I want to talk to you a little bit about how you decided who was going to get the night off besides Tom Webster. I'm thinking of people like Taylor and some others as we watch the replay here.
Well, again, we're working the puck down low, which we felt we had to do in order to maybe take advantage of their goaltender staying so deep in the crease and then drawing everybody down. As a result, the first goal came from there and almost the second goal. But bringing up a guy like Alec and Husted was a result of talking with the coach in New Haven, asking them who he felt were the best players at this time deserved an opportunity to come up, and he highly recommended both of these guys. And of course, now coming into the lineup, we just had to look at who needed the rest the most, and felt of course Robinson, Canelli, a guy like Dave Taylor will respond a little bit more to the rest with the upcoming games that we have.
I know you're familiar with the history here. Herb pointed out earlier the injury to Bobby Carpenter last season. Soviets turned the puck over here, but Lindholm unable to handle it. Now takes it out of the corner. Had Allison in front, couldn't get it on his stick. Jay Miller picks up the play, and the Soviets move it out through the center ice area. Good move there, and across the line with it again is Rakatulin. Rakatulin assisting on the goal to make it 3-0, and then Makala scored from Alec and Duchesne at the 6:08 mark.
Jigs, we talked about Bobby Carpenter breaking his hand here last year. We don't see Stevie Casper right now, and I believe he's got an injured shoulder. Some of the words we got between periods. That's something you can't afford, especially the way Stevie's been playing in that real good checking line that's developing here in L.A. with Johnny Canelli and Keith Crowder.
Kings with one more home game, then a long road trip too, Tom. It's coming up for you. Drive off the glove hand of Gosselin, and Robitaille clears it to the line, but not out. Long shot.
That's a play, Herbie, that I've been trying in the last little while. You see Robitaille out of the zone. Soviets are starting to press now, so I told the coach staff, leave a guy out of the neutral zone. Get him out of there. Maybe we can spring somebody loose. So as a result, we almost had one right there.
The Soviets, the Himik team up 3-on-2. Put the puck in the middle. The shot blocked by Gosselin. The rebound there. The Soviets able to get a stick on it. This is Tita. Got in deep. Tried to put one in the goal mouth. Bernie Nichols. Nichols over the center ice area. To the Himik zone. Holds the puck. Look toward Crowder, and he couldn't handle the pass. Crowder up the slot all alone. Now the Himik club moves out to center ice. The play broken up by the Kings defenseman Benny. Crowder with a pass of an off Robitaille stick. Plays it into the center ice area, and it's recovered by Marty McSorley. 8 minutes remaining in the second period. Here's Luke Robitaille. Crowder, the pass off his gate.
Well, when LA's playing their style of game, you're not going to see, as I said earlier in the pregame, that there's more similarities, Tom, than there's contrast today in the styles between the Soviets and the National Hockey League.
Oh, there sure is, Herbie. You know, everybody's now, as we talked about earlier, in the transition game, getting the defenseman more involved in the offense. Even the goaltender more involved. It's the most I've seen their goaltender handle the puck to try and move it. So you're getting people that are always getting into the flow of the game. And transition, quick counter is the name of the game nowadays.
And it brings out the best of the athletes. And there's some great athletes, obviously, in the National Hockey League. And I've always felt you've got to give them some leeway to bring their talents out. And to suffocate them is, you don't really do justice to them.
Here's Krashodowski moving right in. His backhander is turned aside. Cherviakov, another big save there. 21 shots on goal now for Los Angeles. They trail 3-1. Algain with the puck, trying to move in around the defenseman. Put a good move on Waters. Picks it out of the corner. The centering pass went behind the teammate Voskresensky. Into center ice now. Elling across the Soviet blue line. Shoots one off the skates of the goalkeeper, and it bounced right up in front to Yashkin.
Todd Ellick was acquired by LA in a trade to New York Rangers, and he had a good year last year in the Rangers situation in Colorado and New Haven.
And see that long shot and an offside, little pushing and shoving. With the score, Himik 3, Los Angeles 1. Will pause for a regional break. You're watching the Kings and Himik live on Sports Channel America. Discussion going on here. You see the officiating staff, all three from the National Hockey League, Bill McCreary, Brian Bozak, and Pierre Champoux, and talking with Vasiliev, the coach.
Well, we've had a couple of incidents already, Jigs, with some high sticks being involved, and as a result, that's how Stevie Kasper got hurt. But you can see here, again, a high stick coming down over the back, another high stick in front of the net. But Jay's doing a job that he's supposed to do well, and that's go to the front of the net and finish some checks. But in the first period, the goaltender should have picked up a penalty on freezing the puck behind the goal line. It's another one that they missed.
You had to look there a moment ago at Jay Miller in the discussion with the Soviet player after that set two in front of the net.
Well, I think the Soviets were complaining because the guy got a cut lip or a nose.
Opportunity set up here. Gosselin comes up with a big save. It's Himik 3, the Los Angeles Kings 1 as we pause for a regional break. You're watching the Soviet series against the Los Angeles Kings live on Sports Channel America. Didn't Russell and Stallone just finish up a movie, Tom? Were you involved?
No, I wasn't, but I wish I could have had the Rocky music in between periods for the guys to get them going.
Well, they got one on the board and trying to fight their way back into this hockey game. First of a series of 21 games, 4 Soviet teams coming over here. Himik completes their 6-game swing by the 14th of December, I believe it is. Then the Soviet Wings arrive in North America to begin their series. The first game is December 26th against the New York Islanders. Red Army will be over as well. Speaking, handling the puck in the center ice zone.
Something the Soviets will do here, Jigs. They'll regroup. They don't like what they see at the offensive line. They'll go back and start again. They don't do it as much as they used to. They start dumping the puck in, do a little more chasing, forechecking now. That's something they've taken away from the North American game, and that's helped their game, actually.
Yeah,
just give you a little different style of game.
That's true, Herbie. I've seen them probably dump the puck in more in the last little while than I have probably in the past few years, in the sense that if they don't have the plays, instead of trying to regroup as much as they do dump the puck in.
Talk to us a little, Tom, if you will, about this young man, Todd Ellick.
Todd Ellick has had an outstanding year through all of the troubled times that they've had down in New Haven. He's been able to take upon the leadership role, stay with it, provide that hockey club with the offensive powers that they need to stay in contention in New Haven. He's played extremely well, according to Marcel Como, and here he is tonight, given an opportunity to do a little bit up here.
17 goals, 23 assists, #1 scorer in the American Hockey League right now, playing at New Haven. This is Nico McElroy. He has the only goal for the Kings. He's it back to the net and telling the wraparound, and it's blocked at the defense. Himik into the center ice zone. McElroy took his man down, and there's going to be a penalty. Los Angeles will be a man short. They're trailing in this hockey game by a score of 3-1, and we'll be back right after this message. Nico McElroy in the penalty box, hooking called at 14:59 of the second period.
Well, we talked about the exchange, the different styles of play, the more similarities and contrasts today. The Soviets, they've played 61 games since 1976, and there's been a lot of exchanges. And you'll see the Soviets now will use their body a little bit more. And, of course, you know, Nico McElroy, you don't like to take that type of penalty in the neutral zone when there's a long way to go yet, but he's keeping his legs moving. But, again, with McElroy, I think the thing is, Tom, what you just mentioned here, he's involved. He's trying to do something. And you can forgive some of those things like that, even though maybe he wasn't the best spot on the ice for it.
Now that good wrist shot. Soviets with the man advantage here. Titov puts it back of the net. Can't get it to the blue line. Allison fed it to the left side. The puck cleared out into the center ice zone by Lindholm. Lindholm and Allison killing it off with McSorley and Beck. This is Smirnoff, the captain of the Himik team. Playing it into the center ice zone. Talapuka checked with the blue line. Head bobbing and waving. Kings stand up, take the blue line away from them. First man back is Smirnoff.
I'd like to do is stretch that zone. You'll see a guy way at that offensive blue line just standing there trying to bring the defenseman back and open up a little gap. So again, it's that checker type of game, but Gretzky plays that all the time, and you'll find the LA people mirroring him in practice and throughout the game to use that full ice. The width and the depth of it is very important, and the Soviets do it very well.
The Soviets moving in here in the man advantage. 4 minutes remaining in the second period. And the wraparound fails to work. Rooftop right in front of the net. Now the Kings have cleared the zone. Tom Webster, your team here playing in this division where you've got people like Makarov, Krutov, Larry are now playing regularly now. What do you think of the impact the Soviets have had in the league and especially in the division?
Well, I think they're doing extremely well in the sense that they're certainly making a big cultural adjustment in the North American style of play, but I really feel that eventually, given the time that they've needed, that they will help improve the hockey league just simply by their talents. The hockey clubs have made some big investments in them simply because they are good quality players. And you're going to get that kind of player on the ice. It makes the other team a little more aware of the skill levels that they're going to be throwing at you.
James, the number that we read coming out of Vancouver, correct me if I'm wrong, Krutov was the one they're talking about because he's in the doghouse a little bit for Bobby McCammon. He's struggling for whatever reason. We're not there. We don't know. So I got to look at our yearly sums over 3 years. So it is a big investment. It's a major undertaking, and there's going to be that, as Tom said, a cultural adjustment here. And before you pass judgment after the first quarter, we'll see what happens after the last half. And I guess that's what, the real proof will be.
Teams at 6 aside again, 3-1. Himik leading Los Angeles. 18 Soviet players were drafted. The entry draft this past June. See the Soviets setting up in center ice. The forechecking job by Krushelnyski here, and he's bothered as he moves in. Hit from behind by Yashkin. Krushelnyski hangs right with the puck. What a job he's done here. Makala with them. The team comes up with it. To clear it into center ice.
Jake, you said 18 drafted last year, 11 in 88, and from 1975 through 1987, those 12 years, only 17 were drafted.
And here's a breakaway for the Himik team. He can move in. Good stop. 2 minutes, 5 seconds remaining. The crowd getting into it now. They haven't had a great deal to cheer about. Their team got down 2-0 in the first period, trailed 3-0 before Makala scored. Now the Kings have just iced it and are trying to get back on this 3-1 deficit. Well, they'll show you here what happened on that breakaway, what set it up.
Well, Brian Benning, he's got to use those legs, and Tom Webster wants his defenseman involved, but someone's got to fill in that situation, and nobody filled for him. And that was a great save by Goss, and you noticed he was out, came back, he made a great pad save. So, again, when a defense is on the rush, you're playing a little give and go. One of the forwards has to read that thing and fill in, and the defenseman, again, if it's heavily trafficked there, maybe better bury it.
Smirnov just drilled one off the left point. That's 27 shots on goal now for the visitors. Himik. Barry Beck moves the puck to the left side. Out at center ice. Sorley. Crowder. Jay Miller. Backs into the corner. Miller feeds the blue line for Beck. Counts it in a little deeper. There's Crowder. Right on him, and they get a play stoppage here with 1 minute and 24 seconds remaining. Jay Miller turns, said something to his Soviet counterpart, but the penalty appears to be against Crowder.
Well, it's tough to play catch-up against the Russians in the penalty box. And, you look at the time, the last minute and a half, get a penalty like that, and all of a sudden they score, and it's going to make a tough game, even tougher. Crowder a little frustrated there, just reached up, had his fist in his face, and Willie McRae right on it. And again, it's the timing of the thing, Tom, and that's something you talk about. Pick your spots if you're going to get something like that. Not at the start, not at the finish of a period.
Well, that's one thing that Keith Crowder does well is goes in and grinds out. And as a result, he takes those kind of penalties, those hard-working penalties. But unfortunately, the time is of importance. We're back into the hockey game with under 2 minutes, and it's important that we stay on the ice to try and take advantage of the odd offensive chance.
Not only the minor penalty, he gets a 10-minute misconduct along with it. 1 minute, 24 seconds remaining in the second period. Jay Miller is leaving the ice. You look at Titov.
A guy like Keith Crowder, though, is one of the players that I really enjoy coaching. Those kind that come to work every day, day in and day out, and practice in a hockey game. He gives you everything that you want. And he's the kind of guy that lifts your hockey club when you're into those dull times. A guy like Pinelli and Casper that you alluded to are those hard-working lines that pick up your whole club.
At the time, you had a little slump there, and it was sort of tied in with Keith Crowder's injury, and he wasn't back. As soon as he got back in the lineup, you found your that lineup that you want to start picking up. Now, Pete hasn't scored this year, but he's doing all the other things that you've described. And there was a real noticeable difference when he was out of the lineup with that injury.
Yeah, absolutely, Herbie. You know, he gave us that life, and then Mike Kruslinski also coming back into the lineup seemed to give us that balance that we needed with the three lines, that little chemistry that they needed together to start making things happen offensively.
Soviets with 1 minute and 14 seconds left in the power play. 35 seconds, all that's remaining. Period number 2. Teams have shared goals, one each side. Himik leading by a score of 3-1. Los Angeles Kings move out with a pass that jumped over Robitaille's stick. Ribiekov out of the net, cleared it, and Rob Nichols interfered from the Himik goal mouth.
Well, they can score shorthand, and they've done it quite well this year. They've done it last year. They got the players that can do it. And Robitaille almost had that semi-breakaway there. And the guy that was out of sight, and if Robitaille would have had it, Bernie Nichols was all alone going home.
Now each team with a goal. That's the end of the second period. Tom Webster, the coach of the Los Angeles Kings, joining us. Your thoughts now with down 3-1. There's
the bench, but when you're up here, you're not involved too much either, and it's an awful frustrating thing when you're working with that club day in and day out.
Yeah, you don't like to see bad things begin to develop. Bad habits, I guess, is what I'm saying, because they have a tendency to carry through.
But, you know, coaches rely on that, on the video tape so much, Jigs, and the viewpoint from the bench is not really conducive to seeing things unfold. And if you look at what they do in football and how they use upstairs in the spotters and the assistant coaches, it's just good to get away from the bench and take it a little different look for you.
Mike Allison leveled his man. He's slow to get up. That's Titov. Just now recovering his stick, and the Soviets. Tukin drops the puck back into his own zone. Smirnov with it at center. Expected Yakov and Smirnov to be out tonight to see what I'm sure is a relative play in this game.
That the Soviet came off holding his hand. He got really hit, but Titov, Mike Allison came off right away also. He got his bell rung in that situation. That was a major collision in that thing, and that's a good way to start the second period for Los Angeles, because they've got to get involved. There's nothing like getting involved sometimes. It's just a big hit, and all of a sudden the Soviet player better look up in this league. You start reaching for a puck, and you're going to get hit. And he got it, and his shoulder went down. He could possibly get a separation or whatever. Titov is a 24-year-old center iceman. That is one of their top center icemen. They can ill afford to lose him.
Himik leading by a score of 3-1. Puck dumped in. Backboard is Steve Duchesne. Duchesne pulled it away from Titov. Moves it up the left wing boards and center ice. Reaches Robitaille. Now Fraser turns it over. Soviets failed to penetrate at the Los Angeles blue line. Fraser had trouble with the puck. Good pass here. Quick shot. The skate save by Gosselin. Then the rebound comes through in front of us, cleared by the defenseman Duchesne. Set it up at the blue line. The pass going to Malgin. Malgin trying to go back in the net. Fraser knocks him down. Play allowed to continue. Robitaille with it now. Plays it through Duchesne and off the left wing boards at center ice. Kings pick up a loose puck. Robitaille comes over the line. It's poke checked away neatly. Soviets dump it down into the Los Angeles end. Gosselin giving it to Waters. He tries the left side. Quickly, the forechecking pays off. The centered one, but nobody there for the Soviets. Standing up the middle to Robitaille. Now Nichols. Nichols look toward Robitaille. Cruise to right wing. Shot one high and wide of the net. Bouncing back to Tim Waters. With Robitaille. Robitaille's pass is blocked and then cleared out of the zone by Malgin. Waters with help from Benning. Kings able to clear it right back into their zone. Waters with it now. Center ice. Kruslinski. Check. Robitaille comes up to steal the puck. Plays it into the Himik zone. Quickly, it's moved right back out again. 45 seconds into the third period. Icing waved off. Himik in the middle of the player change. Everybody leaves at once. The Kings unable to make the transition cleanly at center ice.
Sure, LA tonight, they've got a couple shifts there they went too fast at Jigs and almost cost them, and that was another one there. But both teams didn't have anybody on the ice. I'd like to say we're going to change, make sure that someone's out there, just a little safety valve, then he can sneak off at the right time.
Another hit at center. This time it's McSorley going down. Eddie McSorley got the full force of the check from Vidar Rakapatula. Something like that. How did you pronounce it earlier, Herb?
Just like you, Chicks. Rakapatula, that's how I said it. But anyway, Marty got his bell rung.
Did he ever? Sorley takes his man in heavily.
Well, you know, a guy like Marty, you know, some people, all of a sudden the Soviets come over or the Europeans come over and other people start running them. But Marty McSorley runs anybody. So, you know, if he's going to hit somebody, he'll hit it either in the National Hockey League or Soviet or Swede or Finland or whatever. It makes no difference to him.
Body work there. Now Jay Miller moves the puck to Makula. A moment ago, Makula had an opportunity cutting it off left wing.
Pretty good steer jigs in the last maybe 15 minutes of this game.
Buchan with the puck. Past the line. Wraparound passes. Picked up here. Chenko, the center one. And Allison moves it out for Los Angeles. Gretzky with a towel around his neck. Hasn't had a shift in the third period. As Pippen now tries to move in. Off the pads across him. He gives it to Lindholm. Check back in the net. Duchesne turns it over. And shot from the point off the stick. And up into the seats. Kings continue to trail 3-1. We'll be back in just a moment.
Well, Martin McSorley, he likes to like the puck. As I said, his game is growing all the time. He's handling the puck right here. He's just trying to fight off a little check. And Rackfield stepped in and really drilled Marty. And all of a sudden, this is kind of funny thing here. I don't know how Lindholm just said, whoa, wait a minute. I don't know how the Scoots drive that one. It's low pressure. He was there. Wish you had a mic on him when he was doing that. Whoa. Whoa. Oh.
Yeah.
A little difference between a Soviet player and a Swedish player, I guess.
Keep in mind, it is an exhibition game as the 4 Soviet teams come to visit. All 21 National Hockey League teams playing a game against the Soviets this year. Newstat trying to cut in, wrapped up at the defense.
Should also point out that Wayne Gretzky's not seeing any ice time right now. He's just going to play in the power play and maybe kill the odd penalty. And he gets so much ice during the regular season that it just the nights where he's got to rest a little bit.
Newstat knocked down at the blue line. Kings forced back into their own zone. Henning bounds the net with him. Ripped away from him. He's able to recover. Takes the man, and Newstat takes the puck. Dumps it in off the boards. That's opportunity being set up by Robitaille, but he couldn't get the Nichols in time. Over the center ice zone. Speakin with a shot. They score! Speakin dropping it back, and the Soviets make it 4-1. The goal coming at the 5:47 mark.
Well, as the patent Russians play, they like to drop pass. They like to shoot off a pass, and boy, that was the case in point. If you notice on this drop pass, he didn't pass the puck. That puck just stops. He just dropped that thing. He got a little help there, of course, also. When the LA defenseman, Duchesne, maybe touched it and helped him out, but he drilled that thing. That was a big league shot. Obviously, Rashmikin just one-timed that thing, and Goslin didn't see that thing at all. He got screened by the Russian forward, Soviet forward, going towards the net a little bit. High to the short side. Well, goalies like to get out and cut those angles as much as possible, but that puck had eyes.
Dmitry Kortlanov gets the goal. Rashmikin has made the drop pass. Rashmikin, 28 years of age now. There was a time about 5 years ago that Rashmikin was considered to be a top prospect, a top young prospect in Soviet hockey. He started his career with the Central Red Army team. He had a bout with the bottle, drinking problems, and Nikonov didn't take kindly to him. Sat out most of last year. He was transferred to the Himik team. The coach, Vladimir Vasiliev, got his lifestyle turned around and got a pretty good hockey player out of it. The Soviets come to center ice, leading 4-1. Matula moving in off the right side. His shot turned inside. Back back to him. Sorley got to the puck. Checked on the play. And the Kings. Alex giving it to Makula. He's checked from the center ice zone. The Soviets up the slot. Turned aside by Goslin. Big team all over the Kings. Got Los Angeles zone right now. A little less than 13 minutes to play, and Benning takes it back to the net. And Benning, the pass onto the stick of Lindholm. He's across the blue line with Bakula. Pass to Bakula to Lindholm. He shoots. Big save. In the air top, coming up to the big save again. Lindholm puts it out of the corner. It's grabbed, tied up on the play. Fans are yelling. The player being held. Separate. Miller moved it in toward the corner. Here's Lindholm at the side of the net. And the drive went wide as Miller came right up the slot for the Kings. Miller gets tripped up. Play allowed to continue. Lindholm had it, lost it. This Himik team is content to clear the zone. Icing waved off. Both teams in the middle of player changes. 12 minutes to go in the third period. Himik leading 4-1 as Bukestad takes the pass, steps over the line, drills one right on. Yakov making sure there is no rebound. Well, the Kings are down by 3, and the local folks aren't happy. Dmitry Portlanov puts the goal at the 5:47 mark. Both brothers, Andre scoring in the second period, now Dmitry here in the third. This one, a goal by Dmitry. He's regarded as the up-and-coming star of this team. He's closest to the star status on this club.
Jigs, he had a great year last year, 9th overall in the Soviet National Hockey League in scoring. 32 points, won by Makarov. Won it with 54 points. Of course, we know what he's doing in Calgary right now.
An opportunity to see this young man last spring. Everybody that watched the World Championships in his first appearance. Robitaille to Nichols. He had to turn back as Bukestad was ahead of him at the blue line. Nichols feeds it to the left side. Fraser gets to the puck. Give it back to Bernie Nichols. Bukestad trying to move in on the boards. Nothing doing there. Got a look at center ice. It's up with Fraser. Robitaille took the man. And out of the net is Goslin. He gets checked. Goslin comes back, throwing a fist into the face of the Soviet player. And we're going to have one, maybe 2 penalties called here. 10 minutes and 54 seconds remaining in the third period as we pause now for a regional break. You're watching the Soviets and the Kings live on Sports Channel America. 6 penalties in the game against Los Angeles, and this one is going against the goalkeeper, Mario Goslin.
Yeah, Mario, a little frustrated, trying to stop the puck behind the net. He felt he was taken in there somewhat, and he tried to give a thing going. He just gave him a good elbow right there. It was an unnecessary move by Mario. It's tough enough to play goal in the National Hockey League or any other league without venting it like that. You're going to get your penalties at time, no question, but right now I think there's a little frustration setting in for Los Angeles.
Shevchenko going back in the net, and Goslin met him there. So Himik with a man advantage, leading by a score of 4-1. Krukov in front of the net, nobody paying any attention to it, and then the LA Kings able to clear the puck down the ice. Backcourt. There he comes. Pass into the Los Angeles zone. Dolmov, Dmitry Dolmov, playing it back to the blue line. Give it right back to him. Dmitry, the younger of the 2 brothers, throws it in deep. Again, put it in front, bouncing front control now by the Soviets, and Goslin out to make the save on Smirnov. Smirnov in deep. And he comes in to join the play, much like Fetisov used to do with Central Red Army.
I think the Russians have seen the likes of Barry Beck and Marty Massorti in front of the net. 225, 230. What do you call them? Quarter pounders?
The first time that this Himik team has been to North America. Their first visit here. A nice foot tonight with a 4-1 lead. And advantage for the next 35 seconds. Krukov playing it along the boards here from off the skate and bounced right to Krushelnyski. They had to Allison, stepped over the line, but so did Krushelnyski, and that put the play offside. 23 seconds remaining in the Soviet power play.
It's one of the trademarks of the Soviets, their ability to use their feet. There's been so many times tonight the passes have maybe been in their feet or almost by design. How they'll kick it, and they don't even miss a stride. Kick it right onto the stick and keep on going. It's amazing how they use their feet to control that puck.
Used to be when they'd come to North America, a lot of their practices were conducted without sticks, like watching soccer on ice. Watch one of their workouts. I think that's something that is carried over. It's inherent in most of the European players, the way they handle the puck in the skates, isn't it, Herb?
Yes, there's no question about it. These things are, as you said, they're done by design. They practice it. This doesn't happen. I don't think we practice that enough in North America.
Oh, well, they just blew one by Gosselin there to make it 5-1.
That's a little that quick shot, and he just caught Mario just sleeping on the darn thing. And again, it's not that big booming slap shot. It's just a little quick snapshot, and there's a textbook case right there. But I'm going to have to say that was a rather soft goal, and a goalie at any league should have picked that thing up. That was not screened. It was just a little quick shot. Mario, again, time he focused on the puck, it was behind him. And right now, he doesn't feel too good about that one.
Val Yeoman getting his second goal of this game. It's a young man we told you earlier that they gave us absolutely no information on. I don't know if he's a regular on the team, where he came from. Maybe they're trying to hide him from NHL scouts. But you've seen him tonight. Yeoman making it 5-1. Scoring at the 11:05 mark. Only 1 second left. The penalty to Gosselin. Nichols waves his way across the line. Got knocked down. Himik able to get it to the line, but no further. Kings move it in. Robitaille trying to come through in front of the net. Got checked. Now Nichols comes in. Bernie Nichols goes to the center one. It's deflected in front of the net. Robitaille is checked. Here's Nichols. He can't get around his man. Himik goes up to center ice. Long pass into the skates and then onto the stick. And Gosselin makes the save on Yashukin. With it again. Dropped it back to the blue line. The defenseman coming in late. Shot turned aside by Gosselin. Just under 8 minutes to play. Shane pass found its way to Nichols. Now to Lindholm. Look at the traffic around him. 4 Soviet players converging on the puck carrier, Lindholm.
The Soviets are opening up now. They're playing a little bit more confidence, higher tempo. The thing in the LA is just a little frustrated.
Lindholm to McSorley. After that Soviet goal, Marty McSorley given a good solid check again by that same number 9 that hit him and decked him earlier. Matulin. 5-1. Himik leading the Los Angeles Kings. Kings have never beaten the Soviet team here in LA.
I think the first 2 goals are sort of indicative of LA's preparation tonight, not take anything away from them, because I said, we know what's going through their mind, but they get that bouncing puck and they get that little deflection, they're down, and another night if they have to do this stuff.
Now the Kings in trouble as we pause for a regional break. You're watching all the action live on Sports Channel America. Into the ice. 6 minutes and 49 seconds, the time remaining in the third period. Your Yeoman's second goal, Igor Nikitin, had the only assist. There's Pattern playing the puck in toward the corner for Mike Krushelnyski. Control it. Dukin here on the right wing. Dukin brings it back. Soviets. Passing play into the center ice area. Zelapukin over the line, trying to cut in, put it in the slot, and Gosselin able to make the save. See the reaction of the Soviet player. It's number 23, Yashkin. Alexei Yashkin looking up. Say that should have been 6.
Well, Gosselin played that one very well. He feels kind of embarrassed after the 5th goal, and he's come up with a couple good saves prior to that. But this thing developed from their Soviets' defensive zone, and I'm telling you, they moved up ice. A couple long passes, deflection at that red line. That far guy just coming down the weak side there, and he was home. And Wayne Gretzky looking at that, and he's saying, well, I told you so. That was probably a great exhibition right there.
Krushelnyski with a shot. The rebound is banged in. The Kings get their second of the night. Keith Pattern trailing the play makes it 5-2.
Keith Crowder is happy to get that one. He hasn't scored yet this year, coming off that injury, as I said. And we heard what Tom Webster said about Keith and how important he is to this hockey club, even though he's not required to score a lot of goals here in Los Angeles, and he has done that in his time. Now watch this thing. All of a sudden, this play developed for Los Angeles, and they came right back what the Soviets did there. Again, it's winning that race to that red line, people away from the puck busting. Those are the key things, and everybody that did not have the puck was moving, and that allows the puck to be moved faster. The Soviets had a great opportunity. Gosman stuffed them. LA came right back, played the same type of thing. The last couple minutes, boy, there was textbooks hockey right there.
He got the goal. Something to think about. It went off his glove hand, and then Crowder was there. And now Alec can't hold the pass as the Kings tried to set something up. We have a little less than 6 minutes to play in the third period. 5-2. Himik leading the Kings. Sorley takes another hit.
Marty McSorley, I'll tell you, he's been run at, but hit more tonight than he usually gets in the National Hockey League. But that's the game Marty plays. He'll take it and give it against whoever he's playing.
Now Alec in center ice, steps over the line, but a teammate up ahead of him, and the whole thing is offside. Himik leading 5-2. We'll be back in a moment. Take a look at some of the hits, given and taken. It's McSorley. Boom. How do you do?
Well, that Rack Multon has hit him a couple times. Marty's got a piece of him. And I tell you, as I said, Marty's always involved. Oh, but again, you can admire it. You can admire Marty that he just comes to play like that all the time. I guess what people get a little frustrated is all of a sudden some people that don't touch anybody in the league, and then there's an international game, they're hitting everybody. But you can't say that for Marty.
Think of Marty's involvement in a current video, National Hockey League hits. It's on Marty just now, talking about the art of hitting and taking a hit. It's been a demonstration tonight. 5 minutes remaining in the third period.
Every time you watch Los Angeles practice, he's always out there late. He's always working on his game jigs. And today he's been out. He's the last one to leave.
There's the coach. Quiet at the bench at the moment. Vasilyev has to be happy with his team. The game earlier this year, in fact, on November 14th, one of their regular season league games, they were up, in fact, beat Red Army by a score of 5-1. The only goal that Red Army scored was in the final minute of play. Last year, this team beat Red Army 3 times, tied them the other game. The Himik team won the silver medal. This year they had that 5-1 win on the 14th of November. They've been off for just over a week. Midway point in their season. Arrived in North America on Friday. Would you believe, came without papers that would get them into Canada for a game in Edmonton on Wednesday. It's been a day of back and forth with the Canadian Embassy here in Los Angeles. Traveling papers and clearance for them to go into Canada tomorrow. It's strange that I guess they've heard about free trade transfer. They can move back and forth at will.
Jigs, earlier you're talking about the draft choices here in the Russian. Tonight we're looking for that youngster.
The one the Rangers drafted.
Yeah, Suda did not suit up.
They didn't bring him.
Oh, he was one of the ones they kept back for the World Juniors.
Right. They are very high on him. He's going to Finland for the World Junior Championships. There are 2 Soviet teams over here right now. The other one is in Canada, but playing the Canadian national team in a series of games. The team is being called their Olympic team, not their national team, but their Olympic team at the moment. This is Zelik over on the right side. The Soviets up with the puck. Leading 5-2 as they dump one in. Fort, Barry Beck. Marty McSorley with it now. Tulin is out on the ice, but McSorley is moving down the off wing, away from Rakhmatulin at the moment. Lindholm knocked off the puck. Macklin with him. Couldn't hold it as it's played around behind the net. Yasky works his way into the center ice area. Gave it to Kwadnalnov. Andre Cortaldov for the shot that went wide of the net. It's right out in front again and is picked up by Makula. Nico Makula, Finnish player, now with Los Angeles. A trade with the New York Islanders last week. Talking to Wayne Gretzky, he said, you know, Jigs, when the Kings and the Islanders play next, we'll wear white uniforms, you guys wear black uniforms, referring to the Islanders. There's so many that have moved back and forth to the two teams. Lindholm with a backhander, he scores! Kings get 2 in a row. Lindholm. Mikael Lindholm scoring at the 17:23 mark.
Los Angeles team, as we know, can put the puck away, even though they don't have their full lineup here right now. They still got enough time. Maybe they get one, pull the goalie, tie it, beat him in overtime. Lindholm, yeah, just camped out in front. Might have been Shorley going in there, tying up the defensive net, getting out of there. That working behind the net. Lindholm just found himself wide open. Wide open again. He just redirected that pass somewhat. A little soft backhand pass right there. Didn't get good wood on it. Sort of handcuffed the Soviet goalkeeper.
There's Robitaille, wristing one wide of the net. Held in by Waters. Lost it on the boards, and the Soviets failed to get over center ice. Bernie Nichols steps over the line. Cross ice with a pass into the skates of Zelepukin. Benning plays it in around the boards. Robitaille couldn't pick that back of the net. Did, and gave it to Nichols. Nichols looks for Bukestad out front. He's well covered by center. Bukestad shoots. Serbiakov makes the save and holds on. LA getting some life, trailing 5-3, and we'll be back in just a moment. This man has been called upon to make 28 saves tonight. He's given up 3 goals since the Soviet goaltender. Look at this play develop.
I'll tell you, talking about mirroring Wayne Gretzky. That's Wayne Gretzky sort of office back there, and Bernie Nichols set up office back there. He waited for somebody to get loose. Scotty Bukestad got loose, and Bernie made a great pass. Bukestad one timed it.
Now Makula rounds the net. Holds the puck. Holds it, centers one to Crowder. Crowder puts it in the goal mouth, and he was grabbed and taken down, and there's going to be a penalty on the play. Malgin, Albert Malgin is going to the penalty box for holding. Los Angeles with a man advantage here, and a minute 47 seconds remaining in this game.
Chirikov has made a couple good saves tonight, especially off Bukestad right there, but now he's Crowder again, just working hard, fighting off the objective as he can. A little bit clear if you see him on the up part of the left screen there, just his arm was up early and automatically. You know, 147 left right here. Jiggy, if they bulldoze him.
Rudy not playing in the game tonight. They have a big game with their division rival, Vancouver, here on Wednesday. Then they go out on the road for about 6 games in a row, I think it is. Didn't want it Edmonton. Oh, Nichols with a chance. Poked at the rebound. Ends up in the corner. Makula with it. Trying to get it to Nichols in time. Crowd developing around Nichols. They slipped away from it. Centered one that's broken up. And this Himmick team is able to clear it through center ice.
That was a great pass by Makula. Bernie Nichols had his hands up in the air. He thought he buried that one.
Roslin is on the bench now as Robitaille comes over the line. Luke Robitaille looks toward Duchesne. Backer goes to McSorley. McSorley through a screen. That went wide of the net. Robitaille sets it up for Nichols. Ushaleski out in front. Robitaille couldn't hold the pass, and Himmick with an empty net. Fired down the ice, and bullseye right into the middle of the net. The empty netter makes it 6-3 and a shorthanded goal.
Well, they had a couple chances. Chirikov came up big for him and held him in there, and then the astute penalty killing by the Soviets just got that thing up ice and just buried it. But they do something a little different here, the Soviets. They don't turn their backs to create a blind spot. They will look at ice and let the goalie worry about the guy behind the net, Jigs. If you had noticed that, a lot of times in North America, we'll be turning around, facing back there. Then the people are coming from behind your backs, and those are the blind spot. The Soviets said, we're going to look up ice. We're going to get as much look at the ice as possible, and we're not going to worry about the guy behind the goal line. That's the goalie's responsibility.
Well, the team that is leading the Soviet Elite Division leads here 6-3, 45 seconds remaining. 16 teams in that league. Most of them, when they take the 6-week break, go out of the country for tournaments and exhibition games. And Himmick, the way to a victory to open up their 6-game tour. In center one, who was fired wide of the net by Crowder. shot down into the Los Angeles zone where it's handled. Mario Gotzela. Shane rounds the net. In the middle of the ice, Steve Duchesne steps over the line, gave it to Bukestad. He shoots. It's the outside of the net. It came off the goalkeeper and into the bench. And outside the post, we have 5 seconds left.
Soviets there, almost like it was a prevent defense, like in football. They didn't forecheck anybody. They just had those 4 guys stacked up at the blue line. Duchesne makes a nice move there at the blue line to get the puck to Scotty Bukestad. This guy, Scotty Bukestad, he had a great year a few years ago with Minnesota North Stars playing on the wing with Neil Broughton, Dino Cicerelli. 44 big goals, but he never really quite recovered from that year. He was hurt a couple times after that, Jigs. Sort of a frustrating last 2 or 3 years for Scotty Bukestad.
Right again at the start of this season, really beginning to put the numbers up over at New Haven in the American Hockey League. Play stopped here with 1 second remaining. Bukestad has had 10 goals and 6 assists in 19 games that he has played.
Well, depth in the National Hockey League is so important. The development of people in the minor leagues is important. Young people, maybe get some veterans, their game back in order.
Well, 13,513 came to the Great Western Forum tonight. You see the congratulations amongst the coaches, and Himik has won it by a score of 6-3. Now the traditional handshake as the 2 teams meet at center ice, greet one another. Well, I would think you'd agree, Herb, that Himik has some very impressive players. While none of them that we saw on the ice tonight have been drafted by National Hockey League teams, there are some prospects out there.
Yes, you pointed out early, Jakes, this is a young hockey club. They were real tentative at the start. I thought they may be a little intimidated, but the game picked up that second period. They got a couple, I think, kind of, well, soft goals, lucky goals to get them going, give them a little breathing room that first period. But again, you have to understand the mentality of what's going with through the minds of the Los Angeles Kings. Come off a big win Saturday night against the New York Rangers.